Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my main deck that I've actually been using for a while now, and that is Messiah Link Jokers. So, Messiah Link Joker, Harmonics Messiah, he came out like last summer. I built the deck like in the winter, because I was running Shadow Paladins back then. And I will post my updated Shadow Paladin deck on this channel in a future video, so stay tuned for that. But I was running deleters. I was literally, my only Link Joker deck was the trial deck, the deleters. And it was actually pretty good as is, out of the box, just really good. I added that one grade 2 guy that restands the Vanguard. But then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to build the real deal Link Joker deck, which should be Messiah or Schwarzschild. Schwarzschild will also be on this channel in a future video. But Messiah, this is my main one, so this is the main one. We'll start off with it. Let's go right into it. 4 Harmonics Messiah. It wouldn't be Harmonics Messiah without him at 4. So you gotta run 4 of him. He's really cool. This deck is like a weird like force deck that tries to be a wannabe Excel deck in a way. But I kind of feel like the Mordred Phantom Revenger deck is more so wannabe Nova Grappler deck. But anyway, Harmonics Messiah. This deck, just like Gear Chronicle, requires a lot of thinking and a lot of technical play and strategizing, because more so than your average like Force or Excel deck, because you won't be able to pass triggers oftentimes to either one of your rear guards because they'll both be locked when you attack with him. But then when you unlock them, they gain 15k. So you'll do weird stuff, like if they PG you, then you'll do weird things, like you check a critical and you'll put like all the effects to a rear guard behind like a locked rear, front row rear guard and stuff like that. So just things like that will happen, or bound to happen with this, playing this deck. But it's still really fun. It's still like probably my favorite deck. This one along with Gear Chronicle and maybe Revengers are like my favorite ones right now. But for the other grade 3, I am running Claw of Occlusion, Ghastly Nail. This is probably like the most generic backup for Messiah. The other one I would recommend running is Grayon from the trial deck, which I might actually swap this guy out for him, because being able to delete the guy's Vanguard if you had to ride him first is a lot more valuable than having to use this guy. The only problem with doing that is that's a Counterblast 2, and it kind of like hurts being able to do other Counterblast plays, but we do try to mitigate that. So I might actually just try running Grayon in here as the other grade 3. For grade 2s, you gotta run 4 of the waifu card. Basically, she is if you don't have this, you'll get this with Messiah on the field, like his Vanguard skill. But you really need to have this card, I feel like, as one of the rear guards, because without it, you just don't get that multi-attack combo that you're looking for. So she basically enables you to get more than just your typical, you know, like rear guard, Vanguard, rear guard. You would do like, with her, you do like rear guard. Well, she would do like, you would do rear guard, then Vanguard, then rear guard, like that sort of stuff. So stuff like that. So for Gravity Well, really, really good, really essential card. The other really, really essential grade 2 is Blast Monk of the Thundering Foot. He is probably even arguably more important than her in some aspects, not all. One of them being that he has a Vanguard effect, so he's like your most optimal turn 2 ride. When he attacks a Vanguard, you can Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and bind it face down. So good against Gear Chronicle because they don't get to use it because they binds it face down. And other than that, whether it hits or not, like you still do it when it attacks. You Counterblast 1, you bind one of their stuff, and the thing is, you get to choose, and it's anything, front row, back row, whatever you want. So it's kind of like Kagero in that regard, so I like that. And then if you chose a grade 2, which usually will be a grade 2, because you're going to get rid of their interceptors, or their pesky Silent Toms, or, you know, like whatever they have, the front row, like Algos, or Tidal Assault, or whatever, Nova Grappler's sticking up there, or whatever. So you'll soul charge 1 off of that. So, really good card. And then the only other grade 2 that we need is Remarkable Burst Monk. Because he has that funny play where he can essentially restand the Vanguard. If you, like, when you unlock him, you Counterblast 1 with him, You reveal the top card. If it's a grade 3, you stand up the Vanguard. You discard 2 cards and you stand the Vanguard. And it does not lose Twin Drive. And that's amazing. That's amazing in Standard. Not being able to lose Twin Drive in Standard is just so amazing. Like, this has only happened a couple times, but when it happens, it's hilarious. So, yeah, that's the grade 2 lineup. Grade 1s, we run 4. Destiny Dealer, I don't know why we have 4 SPs in here, but we just have 4 SPs. Destiny Dealer, he's your main grade 1 ride, so we run max copies of him. I don't know, I feel like he's nice, but he's only really in here to get stuff for free, essentially, like for Soul Blast 1, or like when you ride him just for free, call whatever is on the top of the deck. But he does interact well with Calderon Wing. Because if you do need to unflip, if you have both of them on the field, you can like use Destiny Dealer to lock something, and then you can use him to lock himself. So you have 2 locked targets. But if you have Harmonics Messiah as a Vanguard, then you don't actually need to have a locked card. You can just lock him straight up. So we run 3 of him because he's essentially your counter charger. And when he's locked, you know, he interacts well with another grade 1 in here that will gain power. We'll get to him in a little bit. And next we've got 3 Sunset Edge Duskblade. I had to run Duskblade. I've seen a lot of people not running him or just running like 2 of him. I like him because he was that grade 2 GB1 when he's boosted, Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and lock it. So now what he does is, when he's a grade 1 instead of grade 2, and when his attack that he boosted hits a Vanguard, you Counterblast 1, and then you choose one of the rear guards, bind it face down, and then if the Vanguard's grade 3, you get a draw. So I like him because he has that extra draw power stuff in mid to late game. That pressure that he applies. So usually you want to stick him like behind the Vanguard. Or sometimes rear guard. It just depends. If you have Calderon Wing behind the Vanguard, then you're going to stick him in the rear guard lane. But primarily what I want in the rear guard lane is one of these. Black Star of Increase. The reason why you want him in the rear guard is because he will be the thing that's behind your souped up like rear guard lane, or one of your rear guards that gets plus 15 when they're unlocked. So this guy behind, you know, like Lady Battler, or this guy is hilarious. So 2 of him. I might bump him up to 4 though. I might take this next card out, but I am running 2 Treasured Child of Nuclear Magnetic Resonance. Mainly because it can put itself into the Soul. Soul sometimes can be a problem with this deck, mainly because of Calderon Wing. But oftentimes you don't need to worry too much about it, because you'll essentially have to re-ride Harmonics Messiah like once or twice, and then especially if you open up with Ghastly Nail. But this guy can soul charge for you, so it's not too big of a deal. And sometimes, occasionally, what I've seen happen is he'll soul charge a grade 3 for me, so he makes Harmonics Messiah live on the first ride. So that's why I feel like the Monk guy is probably one of the most important grade 2s for the deck. But still running 2 of her because it can be useful in some rare scenarios. So that's the grade 1 lineup. It's pretty diverse. And then the trigger lineup is very straightforward. It's the 4 PG draws, and then 8 criticals, and 4 heals, and Neon Messiah is the starter for Messiahs. Of course, starter doesn't actually matter, but I like to run it the theme. So it's Harmonics Messiah. Let me know what you guys think of the deck. It's very straightforward playstyle. I like it. It's very combo oriented. It takes a while to learn to play effectively at first. I'd say the difficulty level to run this is definitely not an easy deck to play correctly or effectively. So I would give it probably a I would say probably a moderate difficulty level to learn. Definitely I would say Gear Chronicle is difficulty level hard, whereas this is like moderate level to play. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.